And welcome to Donny Chaingang live on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel, the Full Speed Events YouTube channel, and on the Facebook page for the Donny Chaingang. Now, we are out and heading in through to Richmond, and as you can see, the gang are up and rolling. Now, there have been some technical gremlins, which is why we're actually joining them midway through the ride. And that basically means that if you're a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, you got the correct link, and you're on the gang. And if you weren't a member of the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, this is selective discrimination. Don't blame me. I have no idea quite how this has worked out. But it meant that you didn't get the right link. You got last week's link. So, in theory, everybody's now been emailed with the correct link, and they should be making the way in. So we should find that the numbers will swell. But it's not going to be huge numbers because there were only 36 people registering to join on the line. So there might be another 36 or so people from what there was prior to about 6 o'clock. And that means, of course, I was busy doing that and not doing the show, but kind of thought, let's get people on the ride rather than just have you listening to me talking in your ears, which is, let's face it, the ride is the most important thing. So apologies if you are not a member of the DCG gang and you do register per ride, but you will find that you have got the correct link, and magically you should be able to get on now. Late join is there for 30 minutes, and it does mean you can get on. So you should be able to get yourselves in, and that has been sent out to everybody who have registered, which is 36 riders who are registered. The rest of the riders who are already on early, they're all members of DCG gang, so you all know who they are. Entry online, Charge Them More says Simon Run It on his messages. That's just gone down there. We don't charge anybody. We're not allowed to. And we wouldn't want to. We'd always want to give a free access one way or another. We just make it a little bit more difficult to get on. And tonight, unintentionally, and I am not quite sure how, it made it very difficult, basically impossible to get on if you weren't a member of the DCG gang. So there is a benefit. There you go. Right, should we go back to business as normal? So our ride is up and running. You can see we are in Richmond. Let's take you through the stuff, the route, and where we are heading today. We are heading out into Richmond, and we are making our way around the Richmond circuit. It's a 3-lap circuit, 3 times 16.2 kilometres. Finishes at 48.9k, and the UCI World's Lap Arch is the finishing line tonight. We then have a further 1.1 kilometres to the warm-down finish point, so that's the blue banner for people familiar with Zwift. Our yellow beacon tonight is Jimmy Allen, a.k.a. The Wolf. Jimmy, of course, a consummate hill climber as well as a regular Donny Chaingang counter. So we have got the gang rolling around under Jimmy's instruction. Jimmy, of course, very experienced and regarded as a cracking leader both on the Chaingang and in real life as well. So you can see the map. It's a pretty straightforward circuit. The first half of this circuit is essentially flat. The second half is exceptionally bumpy. So let's take a little bit of a look at the man who's going to be mopping up. It is going to be Simon Run It. Simon going to be looking after any of those riders on the back of the gang. So let's have a little check and see what I was describing in terms of that terrain. So as you can see from the start, the first 8 kilometres, essentially around the plateau on the top of the circuit, very little in the way of gradient. Then you can see we have a drop down from 8k down to the base of the climb as we go up the cobbled climbs at 11.5 kilometres into the 12k marker. We've got the second steep climb coming in at 13.5 kilometres, and then at 15k we have the final drag into the line. Massive thank you to the guys at Velaview for all of their help throughout the season, and really looking forward to working with them in the future. Now, as you can see, we're watching Simon Run. He's our red beacon. Let's drop in with him and let's take a check on the riders on the way through. So steadily got a few more numbers. It's not going to be huge numbers tonight. We've got the members plus should be about 36 as an absolute maximum if they haven't already jumped on another ride, so it's going to be a compact and bijou ride, but the numbers, of course, as we would expect on a sunny, gorgeously sunny evening, are always going to be low, particularly once we get into April. So the ride is up and moving out. Let's see how they get on the way around. Certainly looking at the moment like everybody making the way around the circuit pretty nicely. We're just on the top of the circuit. If we zoom our map out, you'll see that we are on the loop, basically the section that drops us just before we drop down into the main lower section. So to see, we've got plenty of people just in. We've got Keith Richardson in. We've got the gang James Woodbridge making his way on board. So Jay's one of those people who's held up by the technical issues back in the back of the ticketing system. Apologies if you are enjoying a ride. Registered per ride rather than a DCG gang member. But it is you guys, all 36 people who registered for the ride as a join ride, who seem to be affected by that. Nobody else, unfortunately, affected. So, unfortunately, not very many people affected. Only 36 registered, and of those 36, we don't usually expect there to be about 30 to 30 actually turn up and ride. It's actually a bit less in this weather, it has to be said. So, the gang are on the way in. So Simon running, he's going to send me a different picture with the gritty jersey on. The perils of being in with Facebook, it has to be said. So let's have a look. So our riders all ticking along nicely as we make our way round. Going to be a nice group to control. Our leader is Jimmy Allen. Let's have a quick check of Jimmy's avatar on the screen. So Jimmy in his traditional Mondrian La Vie Claire style kit, nicely tucked in with this group in the middle and keeping it all nicely held together. Russ on other duties, and now as Jimmy said, I'm just going to head in towards our descent. So Jimmy just putting up the legend, heading into the descent. Stay close. Let's just keep an eye on the riders go through. We'll jump in with some of our riders on the way through. Looks like Steve Wilson there. Now, one of the things I have to say is, of course, another week and another ride on the ride where we are going to be heading in to a giveaway, because it is OTE April, which means that we've been supported by April, supported in April all the way through by the team at OCE, who kicked off our support without our commercial sponsors and supporters who look after the riders in the DCG gang. We just wouldn't be able to say thank you in the way that we do and support those riders. So a massive, massive thank you to all of those commercial supporters. You can see them across the bottom of the screen: 1080, Continental Valskin, Halo, Nonnas, Gritty and OTE. And we are going to be doing another giveaway. So when we come to the finish line at the end of lap number 1, at the end of the finish line on lap number 1, we will be doing the draw, and the current number generator is rolling around. We'll just take a check. You never know. Hopefully the gremlins haven't got to that. Let's take a little look. Oh, there it is, rolling around nice and smoothly. So all of our members of the DCG gang get allocated a number from 1 to 43. If you've won in the OT draw already, you're not going to find that you're going to win again. If it does come out with the number of somebody who has won already, we'll just roll it round again once again. And when that number comes up, that will relate to one of the members of the DCG gang. Say thank you for donating. We're going to be sending them out. We're sending them out a very nice £30 worth of OTE, including the brand new launched Hydro tabs. So let's keep a check on those numbers. Should be rolling along. The gang are nicely on its way through. You can just see here, we're just watching the gang make its way down, just steadily being joined. Those numbers creeping up steadily as we get a few more riders who are registered as a ride per ride rider rather than being a member of the gang. And apologies once again, we won't go on about it, but essentially those members who are those people who are members of the DCG gang, they get to their links went straight through. Anybody who is a rider who had just done a register on the way through, then as you register per ride, what you'd have found is that you went on the link. It didn't send you to this week's links, it sent you for some reason back into last week's links. So the mail shop basically sending out the wrong link. So it looks like everybody is back on and heading around. Everybody's been emailed who it affected. It was 36 riders in total, and of those riders I already could see, I think about 8 if not 9 on the ride who were affected by that. So already people are already back in. Now Jimmy just chatting about the use of power-ups here. Definitely an Anvil's course, I'd agree with that. So just taking a little bit of a check, just Jimmy nicely tucked in to the front of that group. That group rolling well, the red beacon just coming back in. Let's have a little check. The gang in nicely. Anvil working well on the way down. Matt Nunn. Shane Ross isn't here for the "did you ride this" questions yet. Just watch some of the footage back from every time we go on this course and you'll understand. Fact that there's Liam Callaway was stupid enough to put some beers in the fridge, had to get towed back on again. Very interesting. It's always a really interesting course on here, with the climb coming up, the cobble climb up in Richmond. Richmond, of course, used for the UCI Worlds. One of the many courses used for the UCI Worlds that have been incorporated into the World of Swift. Some of them more popular than others. Bologna, not the most popular one, to put it mildly, and very tough in terms of climbs. But of course, don't forget things like Yorkshire, incredibly tough. And this very interesting course, and going to be very interesting for those people. It is PD4, the pack dynamics for is the new pack dynamics. It'll be really interesting how that plays out. We've got 28 riders on the gang. And this could be a really interesting way to see how it plays out. We had some big pack rolling around last time around on Tuesday. Yeah, interesting to see how this goes. Let's see how they run. So just watching Jimmy brief the riders on potentially going for a Hare and Hounds release at the 3Gs. So the riders in the front group to basically 3 watts per kilo, 4+ watts per kilo in the chasing group. And then basically Jimmy calls the release twice. Am I okay with that? Why not? let's try. I'm always happy to try something different. I think Russ will be having kittens right at this moment in time, but yeah, what the heck. We've got a few riders on the game. So I think everybody on the ride knows how to play the game, and looks like Jimmy just able to incorporate a few other ideas. And if you don't try it out on the rise when we've got 28 riders, you certainly don't want to be trying it a bit later on. It's when we go into the silly, crazy numbers in the middle of winter. So here we go, up on to the first of the climbs. You can see that gradient just starting to kick in at the moment at 8%. We are going to see this just spread out, and as Jimmy has said, feel free to stretch your legs on the way up. He's going to do a regroup, no doubt, on the way over the top. So a few riders just stretching out. Jimmy, of course, going to be rolling around. I think probably very much in the company of Mr. Runnett in the back at the moment. Jimmy, of course, very experienced ride leader, not just on the Donny Chaingangs and quite a few of those, but out on the rides in real life, as well as on different rides on Swift, and experienced racer as well. Good to see Jimmy in here, just trying something a little different. We'll see how it plays out. It's been done before. It can be either amazingly successful, generally a hare and hounds call, or it can be incredibly frustrating for the people who don't make it into the right group. We will see what happens tonight. So just watching our riders make their way around that turn. You can just see coming up towards that red banner, making their way in and through the first times. Going up on to the leaderboard on the left hand side, so you can see a variety of times going up there. Currently about 34-35 second split on the way through for the different riders on the ride. No, James, this isn't the finish line. It is the actual UCI banner. This has been used for, there is a ride circuit that does this. Jimmy's going to point it out later for you on the way around. Look at that. There you go. That's what you want in your ride leader. Instant communication. You will see it very shortly. It's not too far around. And may well be a little confusing for those people who joined us late ride. So this is the group that are coming chasing down after our riders who have been stretching the way on the ascent. They're a little spread out. Plenty of time to regroup on the way around. It'll be interesting to see how the pack dynamics feel as they make their way around the circuit. So Jimmy Allen on the second lap. We're going to need to stay tighter. Dig now if you want. Interesting and certainly very accurate. Don Lindley, somebody get me an amble. Yeah, not wrong. It's going to make a big, big difference on this course. Could be a real game changer getting that on the way through. So up over the top through the batting goes Mr. Run It. Jimmy just a little bit further ahead. The riders just started to make the way down. The final drag still to come. See, we'll just have a little run of the road. I think Liam Callaway's probably going to be the rider furthest along the road. So no worries about splits as long as we regroup at the start and finish from Jimmy, our ride leader. So the group looking good at the moment. They're on the way around, heading in towards that final climb. When the yellow beacon, that is going to be Jimmy Allen, goes over the start-finish line. This time round, we will be stopping the random number generator. We'll be hitting that button when Jimmy hits the line, totally random, because we have no idea when he's going to do that. And the reminder we've got for that, of course, is for the win on the Chaingang for the Donny Chaingang Sports Club members. And that is for the prize, which is £30. It's basically a triple pack of hydro tabs, including the new pineapple flavour, and also going to have the rider's going to be able to take away a bottle as well coming in from OTE. So really looking forward to that. So here we go, Jimmy on his way in. That climb's going to just start to appear in front of Jimmy. If we just take a look, you see that gradient increasing in front, currently at 2 and 3% now. It's going to increase. This is the long drag. It's the longest climb actually on the circuit today. And this one of those instrumental climbs. If you haven't watched the footage from the World Championships, the men's and the women's race, really interesting. Dive on to YouTube. Get a look at it. It's an absolutely cracking road race, and this finishing circuit. If you've ridden Ellsworth, have a look at it on YouTube. Really interesting comparison to see just how close it is. We do actually have one of the regular riders on the Donny Chaingang and the WOW DCG actually used to live on the circuit, and they've said it's absolutely accurate. Lizzie went about here, says Matt Nunn. Yeah, it's a long final little drag, and Lizzie absolutely flying that day. He returned to racing, coming back a little bit earlier than originally planned into racing this year after the birth of the second child, and Lizzie coming back a little earlier just so that she can support her teammates in the racing, which is good. We all know cycling at that level is very definitely a team sport, unless your name is Pog. Well, even if your name is Pog, to be honest, because his team did a sterling job of getting him to the right place at the right time over the course of the last few races. And the UAE team very well drilled, some absolutely incredibly talented riders on that squad. So the gang regrouping as it makes its way up this climb. The riders using the climb to get back together again. Let's take a little bit of a roll. You can just see the red beacon here, Simon running so it's Trevor Crean squeezing in and through onto the wheels of the yellow beacon here. And Simon just holding that back of the group, holding position and getting ready to chaperone people up into the group once again. So we've got to say a massive thank you to Simon Runnett and all of our red beacons. Simon's done a lot of the red beacon duties. Everybody volunteering for that on the Facebook page. Quick reminder, of course, this is the penultimate week, so this is number 3 if we're on countdown. It'll be number 2 on Tuesday, and it'll be the last one on next Thursday. So next week's on Thursday is the very last DCG of this season. And then take a break. We're running right through to September when we're due to return. And that will be at the start of September if it all goes to plan. If people want to come back, of course. And that is going to be a break because we've got an incredible amount on. It's already started, as you can probably tell by the fact that we were running around quite late tonight to sort out the issues. We have got some incredibly busy parts of the season coming up, including the World Championships in Glasgow. Really looking forward to being on the mic there. You've got lots of esports cycling, including the Mowish Championships coming up, the Sunday Race Club for them every Sunday. Now we've got the XCE, so the UCI XCE Eliminator is going to be covered by myself and Emma as well. We've also got lots of other events. The National Cricket Series is going to be down to us as well. Really looking forward to being at the National Cricket Series from Newark right through to Otley, Ilkley, etc. So here we go. Now the gang getting itself back together. Simon just squeezing onto the back of that pack. So looks like, as Jimmy says, the idea to get everybody together, and it looks like everybody just about rejoining as a group once again. And guess what? That was the finish, and we didn't do the draw, and that is only because we're just taking a little bit of a look at the software on the way through, and the fact that nobody actually saw the start as we came out. We have left it, which means we are going to wait until we go into the next sprint banner. So Jimmy, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, we're going to do the OC draw as we go through the next sprint banner, so it will be less coverage on your screen. So that sprint banner is not all that far out. It's still on the flat section surface, and you can actually see one of them as we go this way round. Nils will indeed split this on the very last lap. We've still got another sprint with our next sprint banner. So when we go down to the very end of the circuit, we go around a U-turn on the end of the circuit. At that point, that's when we're going to be coming in to do that draw. I'll just give you a quick reminder of the route on the way around. So essentially at the moment our riders on that leg in towards the panhandle of what is the flat section. We're going to be going on this green sprint banner, top left hand side of that map, for the draw for OTE. We're going to work our way back through the climbs you can see in red, in pink, and then the climb up to the lap line. So on to lap number 2 or 3. And our riders well on the way around the circuit. You can just see rattling the way down. Going to take a 90-degree left at the end of here, then a 90-degree right, which will take them on to the long straight road, which takes us to the very end. A U-turn and then into the sprint. That's where we're going to do the draw. And remember, this is for the ride. Now, this lap is going to be moving, so the riders on here. So let's have a look. Maybe use the final climb to create a gap. Oh, I'm loving all the input going flying into Jimmy. I'm glad Jimmy can multitask by reading all the messages, make decisions as well as ride. Very interesting, Jimmy, considering his options. I'm sure he's probably got a plan in his head already. Fine, work, Jimmy. So currently 35 minutes into the ride. The riders making their way in and around. Simon tucked in nicely. Here's our beacon, so 35.15. So as we go down, we're going to go rejoin the course, come in from the left hand side. We're going to go straight down. We're going to go around that U-turn. We go over the line. We're going to be essentially making sure that we've got the screens rolling. So I expect them to be coming up pretty soon for the OCE draw. Alan needs to save his legs. So remember, the run for this sprint, we go down when the course joins from the left-hand side. We go straight down, we go around the monument, into the U-turn at the bottom, and then come back up again. So here on the Donny Chaingang Pain, the riders out on the second lap altogether. They're going to be stretching legs into that sprint. We'll be following Jimmy Allen as he comes on the way through. Chris Ball. Only one match per ride. Breaks the cutbacks. Only one match. Now you've got queue for your match. You can't just take it and use it. There'll be a long queue and it will cost you 7 times what it cost before. So the other day someone's food system in the UK currently rising 7 times as much as wages. That's quite scary, isn't it? Anyway, I think we import a whole lot of food from around here. Right, on the way down, round into the turn. Let's find Yellow Beacon. Here he is, Jimmy Allen. Right, we're in with Jimmy. Now, we're going to get a overhead view of Jimmy by using the wonderful key number 9. So that's Jimmy with the chevron over his head. When Jimmy comes into the line, we are going to press stop on our fantastic number generator, which is down there. Our riders are labelled from 1 to 43. Generally, if you're at the start, you're going to be a lower number. If your surname begins with an easy letter, so essentially if you're an A, you're at the start. If you're a W, you're at the back. A couple of exceptions to that, a couple of people who have joined the gang late. Neil Kay and Tristan Emptage. Riders whose numbers aren't quite in sequence, but just tucked on the end. But the random number generator, well, we're going to be hitting that stop button when Jimmy goes underneath the sprint banner. That's the green banner. He'll see it as he comes around the turn very shortly. And when Jimmy goes underneath that sprint banner, we'll be pressing stop. And that means that one of our members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Sports Club, and actually everybody who basically got the correct link tonight, are going to be getting an extra bonus, and that's going to be the prizes from OT. We go to one of those members. They are all eligible, so a massive thank you to the members of the DCG gang who quite literally keep the show on the road. So here we go, Jimmy just making his way just to the back of this pack. You can just see going over the green sprint line. That means 220 meters to go until we press that button and stop the numbers being generated, and it will settle on one number. That number will relate to whoever's won on OTE. You've got to say a massive thank you to Annie and Max and all the gang over at OTE. So here we go, Jimmy about to hit that banner as he goes underneath the banner. There we go. It is going to be number 18. Number 18. So, it's not Andy Hawes. He was number 17. He's already won. It's not going to be Michael Hutchinson. He's number 19. And that means it is going to be Craig Herring. Craig, you have just won yourself £30 worth of a product from OTE. That's a triple pack of hydro tabs and a large bidon to put them in as well. So a big thank you to OTE. Craig Herring, our winner tonight on the show. And for those of you who are aware, we're not going to be around next week on Tuesday. We're going to be actually in transit to the studios in France. So that means there'll be a double draw on the final Chaingang show, which will be on Thursday next week. So one more week of Chaingang draws to go, and that is going to be a double one on the Thursday. So Craig Herring, who is number 18 on the draw, he is our winner tonight. So let's head back into the ride. Let's dive in with the riders. And looking good at the moment. Some fast sprint times. Chris Cullen with a 14.79 for that 220 metre sprint. Jimmy Allen sat right in the middle of the pack, actually 22.69. So pretty quick time, that 14.79. Keith Richardson a 14.87. And a raft of riders at 18 seconds plus. So congratulations, Craig Herring. Craig coming back on to the gang, and I'll be sending out the email to Craig later on this evening. I'll be getting details of how to claim his prize. So So currently at 21.7 for Mr. Wilson. Let's do double check. We're going to Mr. Run It. So we know he's here from the start. So, yep, 21.8k. Chris Cannon just, I think, maybe feeling that little run. Pineapple Tabs, the business. And he chucked a tube in to the order. Excellent. Back to the gills with OTE for Manon. Oh dear. My goodness me. He's got a shoal load of OTE heading his direction. That's for sure. In fact, he's going to be swimming in the stuff. Let's not do it. He's not here to answer back. Feel free to put any other fish puns up regarding Craig Herring winning the OTE goodies. Matt Nunn said he can't think of a smoked pun. It's usually smoked mackerel rather than smoked herring, isn't it? It's usually pickled herring. Okay, right, let's get down to this. So, the front group, the hair group, will have a 3-minute lead. So this is going to be a double release, a double GGG release today. The first signal will be for group number 1. They will have a 3-minute head start on the 3Gs on the chasing group. Group 2 are going to be set off 3 minutes behind and will need to stay with Jimmy, who's going to be in Group 2 until he pulls the trigger for the second group. It should be at 3 minutes. So if you don't think you can do 4 to 5 watts per kilo on the way around this circuit, then dive in. Don't go sandbagging. Everybody knows how to play the game on the Chaingang. We've got a nice compact group, making it very entertaining. So if you think you're super strong, let's have a run through some of the riders here who should be in there. Mr. Osman, you are surely going to be in the chasing group with Jimmy. That is for certain. Oh, Craig's got to catch tonight, but who will also be in there? Mr. Wilson, surely you're going to be in that chasing group. Callaway going to be in the chasing group. He might get dropped. Don't know. Mr. Oxenham, you're going to need to be in that chasing group. Simon Oxenham, super strong rider. That's a good rider to have in there in that chase group. Keith Richardson. Keith, again, another awesome rider in the chasing group. Let's take a little run through who else should be in there. Chris Speyer. Chris, surely you're going to be in that chasing group. Mr. Callaway, just been working my way up through here. Alex Gidley. Alex, where are you going to go? Good question, don't know. 3 minutes is going to be a challenge. Matt Nunn did the hares last time. He's going to be a hounds. Oh, hounds for Hutch from Rue Morgue. Excellent, loving this. So there will be 2 GGGOOOs. The wolf pack at the back. Love it, Mr. Richardson. I'm stealing that one. The wolf pack at the back are going to be in pursuit. Let's hope they have better success than the Lotto Sudal, who inherited that sort of mantle and have basically abdicated it in the main pack. So 4 to 5 watts per kilo in the hounds until the climbs, and then it's going to be basically all hell let loose in pursuit. So we have leading group are the hares. You are going to be running up there, and you're going to be in there. Now let's see who is going to go in pursuit. Mr. Lindley, you have no choice. Tom Lindley, you're going in that chasing group, surely, without a shadow of a doubt. I think we've probably got about even. Let's see. Loving to see where this can work tonight. Always good for entertainment. I vote Espeo, Chris Espeo for Hounds. I vote for Chris Espeo for the Hounds as well. Hutch, you ain't wrong. He's been right up there. He's been right in the mix. So, the question is going to be when he's going to call it. So remember, Trevor Greenwing's going to be jumping out at 1 hour. Good to have you. Just sped up for me if he gets dropped. Chris, you're not going to get dropped. You're absolutely flying at the moment. So in the hares, we've definitely got Mr. Lindley, Mr. Espeo. We've got, I think we should have Mr. Osman in there. It's going to be very interesting. Mr. Woodbridge thinking he's the only hare seemingly. Mate, you're not, I promise you. You're not. And if you were, that would be very impressive. John Garth at hare today. Yeah, good call, John. Good call. I think this could be a strong group. I think 3 minutes is a brave move by Jimmy Allen with the people who are potentially not going to be in the Hounds pack. I think it's a very, very brave move. But we will see. Has Jimmy got his timing right? Steve Wilson have just grown long ears. Steve, you're absolutely fly, but I appreciate you have actually been racing like really, really hard at the moment. So take your pick, mate. Dam, ba, bum, bum. Good question. What's everybody going to go for? Are they going for hares? Are they going for hounds? Are they going to choose to be the guys in front with the 3-minute head start? Chris Ball going with the tortoise group, going up with the hare. Get at the front, that man. Yeah, I agree. Choose your group. Choose your group. Right on in, see how you get on. Well, it's going to be entertaining. Now, coming along the flat here, the circuit down by the river, going to take a left-hand turn up on to the climb. Chris Gallagher said, I wish I'd never picked the house so soon now. Well, there's still time to change your mind, mate. It's not been called yet. Yet. Could change it and see who's going to go for what. It'll be very interesting to see who does what. Who chooses which on the way through. So let's jump in with Jimmy Allen. Now the question for me is going to be, where is our red beacon going to go? That's the question. Jimmy, I know you're listening. Jimmy Allen, where is our red beacon going to rise? Where would you like the red beacon to be? Do you think he should try and stay at the back? This is Simon running. Is it fast red beacon? Or does he go help the group at the front? This is going to have Jimmy scratching his head whilst riding and typing. Simon, I'm sure you've got an input in here. Simon in the Hounds, 100%. No pressure, Mr. Runnit. Okay. Until so basically, Simon, you're in with the Hounds until the point when the first rider gets dropped off the Hounds, and then you can go help them. Very interesting. Yeah, Chris Ball, a year ago having to chase but still in recovery. Yeah, definitely long-eared. Quite right, Chris. Oh, I'll tell you something. It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens when this goes. See who goes off down the road. Me, I'll be going for a maximum head start. I can count on here. Jimmy says he's going to try and keep it together for as long as he can through those climbs. I think 3 minutes to make back on the last 16k lap, though. That is going to take some doing. Let's see when Jimmy calls it, though. All it's going to depend on the size, the relative size of the pack as they make their way down. Good to see we've got Stefano Borelli in here. Stefano, of course, out on the in real life DCG. Great job there, and looks like another cracking night in Nonna's being had by plenty of people. So Sam Runnick saying he's going to be the Rottweiler at the back chewing the bee. Put an image in your head of a Rottweiler chewing a bee. And back on the right, you can just see Simon Oxenham just easing at the back of this group. Simon's going to get a new picture for the next season of the Donny Chaingang. Do generally source these. Very few people actually send us a picture through. I have to do some very dodgy internet stalking to find it. Not everybody has one. There's one rider who shall remain nameless, whose only picture that I've got for them is actually a screenshot of a Donny Chaingang, because they don't exist on social media. So on to the steep turns. Going to be making our way around these hairpins at the moment as we make our way up here. This is the run up the climb. This is one of my favourite climbs in Zwift, actually. I think this is really, really testing. I love the twists and turns on it. And it's over quite quickly as well. Definitely really good. And the next climb, in fact, doesn't count as a climb. It's just a sprint, really. Just an uphill version. A lot of these very similar to the Muay Ahoy, who the riders were riding up on Flesh Alone only yesterday. Very interesting to watch the tactics change. So our riders coming up on to the top of this climb. So let's see how these riders go as they come up over the top. I think a lot of people keeping their powder dry, waiting for the moment of that trigger to be pulled. So the gang basically together as we go over the top. Two more climbs to go on this lap. We've got our sprint and then the long run up over the top. Slane Callaway having to drop out in 15 minutes, got baby duties. Congratulations, mate, and all that, but yeah, welcome to the terrible world of having to deal with kids. Rather glad all also now an age where the duties tend to be taxi duties and recover from hangover duties. So up over the next of our climbs, the riders going 23rd Street climb, which should really just be 23rd Street uphill evil sprint. The riders up over the top of that. So drop down nice and fast, 67 kph. So Garford, the Royal Marine of our regular red beacons tucked in here. This is the final climb then before we complete lap number 2. Liam Callaway goes off shift at 7:30. Can do a few turns before he goes. Sounds ideal. So coming in at 2 an hour on the circuit. Okay, here we go. So we go over the top. It's going to be a 3 Gs and 3 Os for the hair, so for the first group. So you are the guys who are going to be out the front. You're going to be aiming to stay clear to the finishing contest, that fight for the finish. And stay clear by 3 minutes. Keep that 3-minute head start as long as you can on the flat. And then put it to good use over the climbs. We're going to see who of the chasing group is going to be the first rider to make contact, if they can make contact on the way through. We're just riding in with Chris Spare. Remember, the group's going to stay together as it comes up over the top. Then we go in and round. So if you're a hounds group, stay around yellow. We're just going to keep a track on our riders now. Just going to be hovering over the top of plenty of the riders. So you're going to need to let that gap go very, very quickly as you come over the top here. So if you are one of the hounds, you need to be over with Jimmy Allen. You need to be staying with Jimmy. If you are in the hares group, if you're out the front, you want to be going. So try and get 2 groups before we hit the line. Let's see who's going to be going. We know that we're going to have a few riders in that leading group going through. So if you're in the group number one, you are going to be the riders who are going off the front now. I'm looking for Mr. Ball, because Mr. Ball I know is going to be doing the front group. So if you are in the leading group as we come up towards the line, you're going to be in the hares group. Now, riders in group 1, guys, you need to hold your fire. Let's see if we can get these 2 groups formed around here. So here we go. If you are a hound, if you're going to be doing the chasing guys, you need to be round the yellow beacon. So, just starting to see some riders go forward, some riders go back. Let's see how we're doing as we go underneath the line. So we're just starting to see a little bit more of a solid gap open at the back of Andy Keyworth. Let's take a quick check off the back of Andy. Oh, it's starting to form into its own little pack. So in this group of pairs, we are going to have potentially, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I reckon it's going to be 11. So first of the G's, I reckon we're going to have about 11 or 12 riders. If you are in this group, guys, get it all together now. Time to get us one pack. So go, one has gone. If you are in the hares group, if you are in the leading group, if you are the riders who are going to get chased, you need to be up at the front. If you are one of the chasers, you need to be in that second group. So remember, let's get these groups together really quick. Let's see if they've got everybody together in that leading group. So in with Chris Ball. Let's have a little look at the numbers we're going to have. This is our pack here of riders at the front group. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 riders in the front group. That's going to leave 16 in the rear group maximum, unless anybody has been distanced. It's going to take a little look. And Keyworth just going to be trying to get in touch with that leading group. He's going to have to push on here to go in with the hares group. Now, if you're in the hounds group, you're going to need to ease right off. Jimmy's got the clock running, so let's see how our riders are rolling. That gap is increasing between the leading group at the moment. So this leading group at the moment, we're just going to say marker point on them going in and through. Remember, if you're in group 2, you're going to need to slow right off, or you're not going to end up getting released. Now, we're going to take a marker when they come in towards the roundabout. When they hit the roundabout, we'll do a time check, and then we'll do a time check on the second group. As they hit the roundabout, first of all, we'll then try and do the same a little bit further down the course. But I suspect it's going to be in. So here we go. This is this first group trying to stretch out now. When they go into the roundabout section coming up, they basically go straight through. We're going to take a marker at that point. So when they enter what is the roundabout section, and try and get a time check on them there. Then we're going to drop back to group number 2. Let's see what that time gap has developed to. Over the distance from the start line to here. So these riders coming in and through. So you can see the big monument in front. You can just see this pack coming up towards that monument at the moment. So here we go. They're just about going to come alongside. In fact, we'll hit as they hit the lines there. We'll stop running as we go through those lines by the monument. Let's drop back to our chasing group where Jimmy Allen is. So when Jimmy hits the same point, we will stop the clock. That'll give us a good time check when they're there. So just holding with Jimmy at the moment. Now, 30 seconds have elapsed since the leading group went past the monument in front of these riders. So Jimmy just to be about able to see the monument. It's the other side of the church. And that is where the riders went through. Currently at 40 seconds now. Now, so we're going to keep this time gap rolling. I hope the guys at the back, you're getting really nervous. I think if when you hit the roundabout, you're going to be pretty much much the right time. At the moment, the front group only went past the monument 1 minute ago. So 1 minute at the moment. That is at the monument coming up in front. Let's see what that time gap is when we hit the monument. Let's give Jimmy a good idea of when he needs to go now at 1 minute 15. So the clock ticks on, going into awards 1 minute 30 since the group came past the monument. I think we're going to be on about 2 minutes when we hit it if we're not careful. Jim needs to keep those revs down. You see that speed just rolling in. So here we go. We're now at 1 minute 45 since the group came past the monument. Let's see if they've got that gap out to 3 minutes. Oh, he's gone for it. He's going to go for it. So let's see. He's going to wind it up from here. Let's see what the actual gap was when they came past the monument. We'll get a good indication of what that time check was. It's not all that far down the road. So that chase group is starting to wind up. We're going to get them as they come in. We'll press the button as they come in over the white lines. So the time gap as they come through is 2 minutes 20. 2 minutes 20 is the gap that the leading group have on group number 2. It's going to be very interesting to see what they can do. Now it's showing on the screens of 3 minutes. On the ground it was 2:20. Let's see what happens. That's because the first group is pushing on, and they're on the downhill, so it is all go. This is the chasing group. These are your hounds chasing the hares in front. They've got to make up the ground. If they take a look to their left-hand side, they can see the riders going past in the opposite direction. And there are riders starting to get distance out of group number 1 by the look of it. So it looks like riders coming out of group 1. So Mr. Run It, just a quick heads up. Don't think you're going to be long at this pace before you're going to start catching riders who have been distanced from the front group. Just a quick warning for you. So we're going to take a little bit of a look at the riders who are going to be seen. I think Stefano is going to be the first one to see any of those chasing riders coming up behind him. But this is that chasing group now. They've wound it up nice and steadily. They're picking up the pace. They've got a lot of ground to make up on the leading group of riders. The hares are away. 3 minutes on the clocks on the Zwift. That was their estimation. It was on 2:20 on the ground as they came in through. So let's take a check. Let's see how close this gets as they come in. This is the run in towards the sprint line here. At the moment, this group are moving quick. They're going to set a very fast time through here. It's going to be really interesting to see how fast they actually get down on this, because they are trying to close the gap down. Remember, they've got a pace that they've got to set to make that group back, that they are working well at the moment. Let's see where our leading group of riders are. So our leading group of riders at the moment are at, let's get a good distance, 36. Let's go with Mr. Garfer. They're at 38.4 kilometers. 38.4. Jimmy Allen is at 36.9. So at the moment it's 1.6k. 1.7k on the road, separating them with 1,700 meters at the moment on the road, separating these riders. The Jimmy on the yellow beacon group and red beacon group about to come into the right-hand turn. That takes you away from that dual carriageway section. You're going to see it coming up, so you're going to take that right-hand turn in a second. The chase is on. So they are going to come around that right-hand turn now. Where's that leading group going to be? Well, they're about to come off that section of the course very shortly. So they've still got a good gap at the moment. Chris Ball sitting at 39k. The chasing group with Jimmy Allen, they are at 37.5, so it's 1.5k. They've pulled back about 100 meters or so. In that gap since we did a last check on the way through. We've got to take the left-hand turn coming up, by which point we are expecting that leading group to be off the top section of the circuit, which I think they're going to be. They're going to take this right-hand turn now, so they're absolutely flying at the moment. Just taking a little bit of a check back for that main pack. The main pack blob is not that chasing group behind. There are a few riders in there now. They are going to start picking up riders on the way through. So I think it's not going to be too long before they pick up riders. You make your way in through here. I think Andy potentially could be seen, but a few others as well. Let's see who's going to get caught in. Remember, this chasing pack are moving at some serious pace at the moment. They're trying to close down the gap to the riders in front. And that gap really has stretched out nicely now. Here they go. They're going to go underneath the green banner. We're going to try and do a time check as they go underneath this green banner. Let's get up above them. So let's get the time check through this line. This is the Broad Street sprint line. So through they go, through the banner they go now. The clock is running. Let's see what time the chasing group get there. They've still got quite a way to go. There's some serious work being done in this group though. And they are definitely putting the hammer down in pursuit of those leaders. So this descent, the pace really starting to build here. You just see 52 kph just riding in with Simon Oxton on the back of this pack as they come down here. Now 2 rights to take. 35 seconds have elapsed since the leading group went underneath that sprint line. So let's see what it is on the ground. What is that time gap? Swift had it at 3 minutes. Well, I reckon it was 2:20 when they went. Let's see what the clock says when they go underneath the banner. Let's see what that's saying. It's now saying 2:35 according to Zwift. What will it be when this group hits the line in front? The green banner just about going to come into sight now. So let's dive up above the riders here. So we'll go on Jimmy when he hits the line. The time gap on the ground currently 1:15 and counting. Remember, Zwift have this as a 2:40 gap. I'm going to reckon this is going to be nearer 1:35. Really interesting the difference between Zwift's calculations and the calculation on the ground. So when you're on a tour, if you're doing a time check, if you get a time check from Radio Tour, they will pick a spot on the road. They will click that spot and then they will work out the timing when the next group get to that same point. That is how it's done on tours. That's how we're doing it in the studio. Zwift does a very complicated calculation to do the same thing. 1 minute 47.54. 1:47.54. And that is the gap you'd see on the chalkboard. That is the gap that you get over your team radio. So 1:47. The gap according to our clocks. The gap according to Zwift is 3 minutes 12 seconds. And that is because this group are on the very fast section at the moment on that descent down. And to take that left-hand turn, because they've done that descent, they've got higher speed. Zwift is working it out as being a longer gap. 3:17 now, 3:18. So carrying that pace down, really working for that leading group. This is the chasing group, but you're going to see what that says. It's going to go down. Remember, the time on the clock's 1:47.54. The latest time gap that we have on our timing. Whether that is indicative or not, we're going to see as they come in. Let's see how this group is going now. Riding really strongly here. They've lost a couple of bodies on the way, but looks like they're still pushing on here. Jimmy Allen's group splitting here under the pressure, under the anvils. They've got to keep it together. If they lose cohesion, they're going to find themselves in big trouble, because they're going to lose their advantage. And I think numerically wise, it's pretty evenly split here. So what we're going to do, we're going to go, as the roads go around that left-hand turn there. We're going to start our clock rolling again. So remember, it was 1:47. The time to get past the same point on that course as they come in. Let's see where they're going to be as they come in through. I suspect that time gap is going to come rattling down now. You can see Zwift's time gap showing now. It's gone from 3:18 to 2:35, and that is because this group is now on this fast descent as well. So they're pulling the time gap down because their relative speed is higher, so Zwift calculates it up as being a different time gap. Let's have a go. Let's see where they're going to be. This time is going to be keep on pushing. Remember, 45 seconds have gone by now. I'm going to drop in with Jimmy Allen to get that same view now. It's at the chicane that comes up in front of the riders. Go round this right-hand turn, not this little snick here. It is the main chicane that they're going to come through. 1:47 at the top of the climb at the sprint line. What's it come down to as they come in here? It's when our avatars, you'll see it go around that left-hand turn. It was 1:47. What have they got back since the sprint line? Now at 1:17. Time continuing to tick out. 1:20. They have not pulled a huge amount out here. It's going for towards 1:30 at the moment. It was 1:47. Let's see what they've got out on the way through. We're sitting on here 1:35. Here we go. So it's a 1:36. They've taken 10 seconds. Group in front have held them, and this chasing group have only taken 10 seconds out from the sprint line to this point on the course. That is not a huge amount, and they are going to really have to move. This is going to take some doing to pull them back now. We're going to go from the next point on here. Let's pick our spot very carefully where we're going to go with these riders as they come in and through. They're looking good at the moment. So you can just see these riders are making their way around. Remember, only 10 seconds pulled out on the descent, and in the run in from the sprint to that point at the chicane on the straight, the leading the group are actually going to come past the chasers. The chasers are going to be across on the left of your screen. There goes the beacon at the moment, and we're starting the clock as we go in over the red line. So great bit of time in there, guys. So the leading group at the moment, these are group number one. These are the Hares. They're going on to the first of the climbs. Last time check, 1 minute 47 down to 1 minute 36. This is the chasing group, the clock rolling. Next time check coming up when they hit the start of the timed climb. Let's see what they're going to take out of this group on this toughest section when they go up in. So they've on the descent, they've taken 10 seconds. I don't think it's going to come down a huge amount on here, but they are motoring along. The clock from Zwift said it's 1:30, but that's because the group is slower on the climb in front. This group are moving faster because they're on those lower slopes. Our leading group, though, well, they are already now approaching the top of the climb. They're not all that far away. The clock rolling at the moment at 1 minute. Remember, the time started when the leading riders went over the start of the climb. The official marker point shown by the red flashing light, the red line on the floor. So it's coming up 1:15 on the clock at the moment. So Jimmy Allen's going to lead them through over that line. So the gap was 1:47. It was down to 1:36. It's down to 1:22. They're coming. Are they coming fast enough? It may well say it is different now. So Jimmy is saying, go now if you've got the legs. Mate, you've got a long way to go. I'm not sure anybody is going to get this back. Simon Oxenham is leading this group up at the moment of these chasers. So it's Oxenham who's putting the power down on the front. The leading riders out on the course already past the top of the climb. This is where the big guns can put the big power and should be able to make ground up at a rate of knots as they come up and through. Oxenham leading the chase at the moment. Richardson, then Lindley, then Osman, then Hutch. Can they pull this back together? Our leaders, though, over the top and accelerating up. They're going to be picking up the pace very, very fast indeed. And I think, Simon, if you're listening in, Mr. Runnit, expect to start to see bodies because there is dot to dot in front of this group at the moment. So here we go. You can just see now Oxenham leading just ahead of this main pack. This main pack really, I think, sitting together here. I think that's a very, very wise move at this stage. Still plenty of downhills So Oxenham in, it goes underneath the banner. This big chasing group are going to follow him into that banner. The gap to Oxenham 6 seconds at the moment, but this group should be able to pull that back or working together. Now let's take a run up the road. Let's see, Mr. Taylor's going to be the rider who's leading this out at the moment. He's got a couple of seconds on Cokin and Pearson. Look at that, Pearson just came up there like an express train. Big sprint coming from Pearson. He's got Wilson, Garford, Cokin in behind him as well. So let's see what the time gap is when he gets to the top of 23rd Street. And that is going to be when they hit the top here. Now, we'll go, I think, on John Garford, because we were on John for the previous time checks. Don't get any more accurate than that, let's face it. Let's see how we go. So, coming in, John in with the leading group on the road at the moment. They're being chased down behind. They go underneath the banner. The clock is rolling to the group behind. Now, let's take a little bit of a run back through this pack if we can. So looks like Woodbridge, Gidley, Mason in there, Wallace in there. Now Oxenham is the first of the chasers. He's on to the 23rd Street climb. So 20 seconds has gone since our leaders came through. So at the moment the clock rolling as he comes up this climb. Now at 30 seconds since our leading riders came over the line on this climb at the gantry. Behind you can see Richardson on his way up here. It looks like Lindley and Allen also pushing on. So as he goes through the line, it's 45 seconds now as he goes in and through. 45 seconds at the moment. It looks like we're going to see this gang all coming together. So the group here, it looks like Andy Keyworth's going to be our rider on the ground with Chris Canham. So our last riders on the road are going to be Andy and Chris at the moment. They're working together to make their way in. Oxenham now in with this chasing group as they try and come in towards the finish. Your leading riders at the moment are Taylor and Wilson. They're on their way in towards the ascent here, the main ascent. They've got the chase coming up behind. Oxenham is still trying to close them down. He's going to have to do it on this climb. We're going to take our next time check. I think we're going to try and get it at the right-hand turn sign. So the yellow sign on the right-hand side with the 20 board on it. So 20 mile an hour speed limit. A bit of a joke that. We haven't been able to get up here at 20 mile an hour. Right, Jimmy Allen and co leading the chase behind. These are the chasers from the Hares. They still have time to get there. They are really working hard at the moment. They've got Woodbridge in their sights next. Jimmy's saying go now. You've got to go and you've got to go now. Well, has anybody got the legs to do it? Because they've been working really, really hard. I think Jimmy's saying to get on with it. Give me legs a rest. Now Richardson is leading. It's a yellow sign on the right-hand side. Our leaders went through there 35 seconds ago and counting. Now at 38, 39, 40. It continues to tick out. 42, 43 seconds it is as they come in and past. That is how close it's got now between our leaders and the chasers. The lead is with Taylor though, and Taylor is pushing on here. He's got a gap. I'm not sure they're going to pull enough pace back now. They've got to be going. Lindley's coming at 7 watts per kilo. Richardson is at 5. Oxenham at 4.9. They have to close down on Taylor. Taylor had a gap. It was at 3 minutes according to Zwift. It was 2:40 on our clocks. It's going to have been enough, I think. Is he going to get closed down? Where is the chase? It is Lindley. The nearest man is coming into the corner, but the riders are on the way in towards the line. Lindley's going to have to go all the way to the line here. If he doesn't kick now at some monumental sprint pace, he's not going to close this down. There's 30 seconds shown on the clock between them. Taylor is leading this out. Pearson is coming behind. So can Pearson sprint his way in? It looks like it's going to be Taylor's. We're going to take a little bit of a look back with our count here. It's Taylor who's leading them in to the gantry. So they're not going to make this. Taylor's going to take it as he comes into the line. So this is going to be Sam Taylor who comes through the line first. It's going to be Pearson who's going to come through the line in second place. Chris Ball is trying to hold off Steve Wilson here. He's going to come through in third place here as he comes up to the line. We've got a sprint behind between Kokin and Wilson. So Ball makes his way over the line. Then it's going to be between Kokin and Wilson. This is Kokin. Then it's going to be Wilson. Then it's going to be Lindley. Lindley's going to be the first of the chasers coming in and through in sixth position. Then it's going to be Garfer, who at the moment has got 10 seconds on Richardson. They're going to make the way in and through. Then it is going to be Oxenden. There's so much work on the way in with Richardson. So it's Oxenden, then Richardson in 8th and 9th. Then it's going to be Hutch, who should hold off Osman in what is going to be 10th place. It should be Osman in 11th. Then it's going to be Woodbridge going to be coming into the line in 12th. So James Woodbridge is going to be in 12th place. Sean Ferron going to be in 13th position. It's going to be Matt Nunn. Oh, is it going to be Sean? It's not. Matt Nunn's gone over the top here. Well, that makes a change. Sean Ferron never normally passed in the last 100 metres. But it's going to be Nunn who goes in. Then it's going to be Ferron. I think there's going to be a lot of dead legs there on the way through. Really making our riders work hard. Alex Gidley just in front of Bobby Mason at the moment. So Gidley coming in 15th position. Bobby Mason, getting squeezed here by Wallace. I think it's Wallace who goes through. Then it's going to be Bobby Mason. Then it is going to be Runnett, followed by Jimmy Allen. So Simon goes through now. It's going to be Jimmy. Jimmy doing a great job on his way in and through the line. Next up should be Chris Spare coming through. Thank you very much to Jimmy, standing in for Russ once again. Doing a great job, something a little bit different tonight, and you're dead right. Something that's a little bit of a change as he comes in and through. Chris Spale's going to be our next rider. Plenty of dead bodies on this course as he makes his way in towards line. Chris Canham, who I think may be regretting having pushed on as hard as he did early on. Very tough on this course and very difficult to get that timing right. So Chris Spale from Rumorg. Next of our riders coming in through the line, Chris Canham on his way up through. The gap at the end, you're going to have to go watch it back coming through. It was about 30 seconds basically as they came in and through. It's 30 seconds on the corner, that's for sure. So Canham saying should have gone with the Hares. Mr. Keyworth on his way in as well. So Chris making his way in towards the line. Just can see lined up in front of him the orange gantry of the finishing line. So great ride by Chris, making his way in, on his way into that finishing gantry on this historic straight here, which has seen world champions crowned on the world champs. And of course we've seen plenty of action on the Chaingang, on the DCG and the WOW DCG on the way through here. Chris Cowan doing a great job. So here he goes. It is going to be Chris on his way through. Well done, buddy. And that means Andy Keyworth onto the straight. Another good ride by Andy. He's improving week on week on week. Great to see Andy in action here tonight. He's going to be making his way in and through the line. So another good ride by Andy Keyworth on that pin road. Nice lightweight wheels, of course, to get him up and through. And you can see him now making his way in towards the gantry. So Andy Keyworth from the Out the Saddle Club making his way on to Jimmy Allen, to Simon and all of the gang who are on there. Don't forget, of course, that we are going to be bringing you lots more action throughout the summer. We have 2 more chain gangs left, Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday there'll be no show, but the ride will be on as normal. Russ will be back for that. And then we will be on our season finale, the very last ride. That is going to be on an absolutely corker, one of my favourite courses. I'll give you a bit quick heads up. We're in France. Riders are going to be in France. What route? Well, the members of the DCG gang will find out first. going to be an absolute stormer. So, from OTE, a massive thank you to them, from all of the gang, from Russ, from myself, from Jimmy Allen. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. Catch up with us on social media. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.